It's Podular. Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is episode 93. It is Thursday, August 20th, and we are coming off one hell of a 5-day ripper from STS9 throughout the Pacific Northwest. Back on the road. We are here for part one of that 5-day recap. We're going to split this up right down the middle. Starting here with some boots on the ground commentary from one of our diehard fans that was at all 5 shows. So he's going to help us break down Bend, Boise, and a little bit of the Kettle House Amphitheater as well. That's all we got on the agenda. Let's get right to it. Mr. Scotty Fuller, my co-host. How we doing?
Oh man, how am I doing, Nate? We are coming into this episode like less than an hour off of some of the most exciting news I could ever imagine. We've got between these two people they've got like 4 episodes on the podcast. Shout out to the McNats. Little baby boy on the way. Expected date on my birthday, February 20th.
No way. My goodness.
Yep. So that's fucking exciting. And man, we love here, and we love babies, and we are pumped for those two. So just let's open up the episode right and shout them out first and foremost. But
yes.
Yeah, man. Outside of that, excited to break down what was a very well balanced 5-night run. You always worry when we are separating them like this, that one end of the spectrum's a little heavier than the other, and then one guest doesn't have as much fun, and there is a lot of fun to be had over the next 2 weeks, man.
Yes, sir. Again, congrats to the McNatt family. Just adding another Pisces to the mix here, Scotty?
Yes. On the cusp. Technically, we're on the cusp of Pisces and Aquarius. So, very, very in touch with our feelings over here, our February babies.
You, the new McNatt edition, and our very own Alana Rockland, Pisces royalty here. So, Scotty. Without further ado, man, let's bring in our Oregon boots in the ground here, man. Let's get an intro. Yeah.
Well, Nate said it, joining us from Oregon, not just anywhere in Oregon, though. Bend, Oregon, somewhere where we're going to be discussing here in a little bit. Originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but like I said, by way of Bend tonight, he is back from over 19 hours of driving. I maybe a little less, given that he lives there, and just rounded out roughly his 120th show. First time on the podcast, though. Welcome, Chris Rossborough. Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. So happy to be here. Feeling surprisingly fresh after the last 5 nights. Didn't know if I was going to make it to have this chat with you guys, but feeling good, ready to rock. It was an incredible weekend, and I'm glad to be here.
Good stuff, great, man. Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of light behind those eyes, which is fantastic. I feel like we're maturing a little bit, right? I feel like more and more often we're coming back from these runs. Sure, maybe like physically tough from all the dancing, right? But mentally with our cup filled, right? So that's good. That's great to hear, man.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Inspired, Inspired is how I feel after a run like that,
Absolutely, man. Well, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're from Boston, Massachusetts, and I know you lived around the Colorado area for a little bit, but tell us about kind of, where you grew up, how you got introduced to music, what you were into early on, and, eventually how you got into STS9.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, from Boston, born and raised. Really, music has played a major role in my life for a long, long time. Through my youth, I played the cello for many years. I played the trombone for a couple of years. Really big into a lot of different genres of music, hip hop, rock and roll, R&B, 90s hip hop is obviously a go-to of mine. Reggae, ska, a lot of bands like Sublime and Pepper were kind of early on big
Pepper.
for me. Yep, Pepper for sure. Good memories going to Pepper shows when I was in my teenage years. Got into what I kind of refer to as jam light in high school with some Dave Matthews and OAR.
Yep, absolutely.
It was my go-to, man. Like, it just tickled an itch that I had just never scratched before.
Early OAR, and I'd say early OAR not to degrade whatever OAR is now. I haven't been to an OAR show in quite some time, but when we were kids, OAR, man, you get a fucking 25-minute jam at an OAR show for sure.
Those early crazy games of poker, man,
yeah,
that was
that's
something
for
else.
sure.
That was
For
something
sure.
else. No
Yeah,
question
credit where
about it.
credit's due. I love that.
I also have not seen them in, probably 20 years. So I have
Right.
no idea. They're a nostalgic at this point, but
Yeah.
they're still touring, which I'm happy to see. That's always good, right?
Absolutely. So what brings you to from there to STS9?
It's a common story for many of us. I have to give credit where credit's due. Colorado. I moved to Colorado for college, went to CU Boulder. In '08 was when I moved to Boulder, and heard about this band called Sound Tribe Sector 9 and said, that's the craziest name I've ever heard of. I've got to listen to them. Had someone who tried to get me to come to that Red Rocks show in 2008. I think it was Ghostland that opened for him, something like that. And didn't have quite enough at the time to pull the trigger. But by early '09, I was easily on the train, and didn't really look back after that. But Colorado, absolutely. I don't know, I think I would have found Sound Tribe at some point, having lived somewhere else or stayed in Boston, but it was expedited and seriously accelerated by moving to Colorado, and I'm so grateful for that.
Oh yeah. Red Rocks '09 is your first show?
Actually, Copper Sensation '09 was my first show. Free show at the base of Copper Mountain, PA set. Yeah. And actually, those PA sets, I don't know if you guys caught many of those.
I caught none, but I've always wanted to. And people are like, "Oh no, leave them back there." I like STS9 novelty. I know this is an opinion that Nate shares. Where if nothing else, I can get behind some shit because I'm probably only going to see it once or twice when they do that kind of stuff. So I've always thought PA sets were really cool. That's really interesting. That was your first live taste of them.
First show, actually, believe it or not, 3 out of my first 4 STS9 shows were PA sets.
Wow.
So early on, that was what I knew. And by the time I did get to my first live band show, needless to say, I was floored.
Yeah.
What really, though, sold me on the band and took it to that level where I knew they were my favorite band, I knew there was nothing that was really going to come close to it, was a pair of shows, late summer 2010, Wakarusa 2010, and then the Boulder Theater 2010.
Oh my God, that one is such a ripper, dude. Jesus.
Just insane. Absolutely front to back beats. Looking around the venue, I could tell we were getting something special. At the time, it was probably my 8th show, and oh my God, just no words for that. So after that, it was really no looking back. That's what really sold me and got me on the bus.
Yeah. I mean, one, Scott, I think that we don't spend nearly enough time featuring stuff from these the shows, the PA shows.
I don't think we ever have. I don't think we've ever featured anything.
Someone might have slipped in a clip or something like that on our Wavespell episode. That is a great idea for an upcoming episode, as we're gonna have a little bit of time to fill between now and the next. Between next week's and the next shows.
There's a recording of that Pepsi Center set. So there is
opening for Jay-Z.
There is some stuff out there worth at least maybe featuring in an intro, something like that, you know.
Well, and
Yeah.
as a hip hop kid, which I also would very much describe myself as that, I can't imagine that those PA sets would get in the way at all of you appreciating this band, especially early. You're like, "What
Sure.
the fuck?
Yeah.
This is a
Not at all.
thing that can happen in front of me." Like yeah, man, I feel like that would have gotten me really on the train quicker if I had had the opportunity to see. So
Dude, I was just about to say that, Scotty. He came in at a very interesting time where these were so much more frequent, and I mean, really, just this was the time where a bunch of these were happening.
yeah,
I think that would have clicked really hard for me and you,
definitely.
considering me and you came in around the 2010, 2011 time. So that's really interesting to hear, Chris. But yeah, that Boulder Theater show, man, Mobsters into STS9, into Wicca, into Surreality, into Eve to start. My God.
Just absolute
It doesn't
madness.
get much better than that. Yeah.
Madness. I actually
Um,
have that set list hanging on my wall, thanks to Mr. Scotty Fuller here in the other
nice.
room here. Yep.
Love it.
Nice.
And hey, another shout out to OAR, right? I actually did see them a little bit more recently. I guess, man, this is 11 years ago now at the Dear Jerry concert at
Oh yeah.
Meriwether Post Pavilion. And they did a pretty awesome cover of Saint Stephen. That was pretty fucking heady. So,
Oh yeah.
shout out to OAR. I might need to throw on some OAR every now and then. But, so you've been in Bend, what, for a couple years now?
That's right. After Colorado, I lived in Tahoe for 10 years. That
Man.
was home for me, still is. You know, will always have a place in my heart. If my wife and I ever get the opportunity to make our way back to Tahoe, we absolutely will. But you know, life gets in the way. Work brought us up here, and no regrets at all. We love Bend. We love it. We love Central Oregon. There's so much to do here. Very similar vibes to Colorado and Tahoe.
Yeah,
With
definitely.
the outdoor vibes and, you know, great. The amphitheater that we have right here in town.
Oh, it's
awesome.
beautiful.
Gets
Yes.
huge acts, which is
Yep.
fantastic. Would love, you know, a little big, I think, for STS9 in this area, but would love to see them there. You know,
Yeah, I mean, that's where like Fish plays when they've come through in the
exactly.
past. And actually, a couple of years ago, we were there for a wedding, and the next day, Slightly Stupid was playing, and that was actually a kick-ass show that we checked out. So, yeah,
That's
they get
fun,
some
man.
awesome acts there. It's right by the Deschutes River right there too. You get a bunch of kayakers and paddleboard people, you know, stopping by and watching the show. But it is gorgeous over there, man.
One of the
So
best parts of that venue is if it's sold out, a lot of people will just float the river, drop
yep,
an anchor, and just watch the show from the water, which is, you know, it's
exactly.
awesome to have that ability. It's
I've
pretty
always
cool.
Yep.
wanted to do that. I've never done that from the water side of any water venue I've ever been at. I've always wanted to do that.
Yep.
It's special.
So, I mean, in your wildest imaginations, Chris, it had been since 2001 since STS9 had been to Bend, Oregon. You had just planted your roots there. Were you ever thinking you'd get a hometown throwdown like this? I know Cascade Equinox last summer was, what, around 30, 45 minutes away, but right in downtown Bend, Oregon? Shit.
Wildest dreams. You couldn't have said it any better. Moving here, I thought, you know, closest we were going to get was maybe Eugene at best, probably a Portland
Yep.
show. And when we moved here, keep in mind, they hadn't played the Pacific Northwest in probably 7 years or something like that. It had been a while.
Right.
So even
Until
more
last year, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So even more contributing to that. So when they announced this show, needless to say, was speechless, was very surprised, very stoked, immediately started plotting how can I make, you know, more of these shows happen despite the incredibly long distances between the cities on this tour. You know, how can I make it happen? When was the last time they even toured the Pacific Northwest? Yeah, definitely was very excited. I will say the venue, which we'll dive into in a minute, was a little disappointed when I saw what venue they were playing, but you know, we got to pick your battles. And I was just happy to see him coming to town, period.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine there's a plethora of, you know, indoor mid-sized venues that are updated, because this is the venue that they played in 2001 when they came
Right.
through. So it's sounding like it very much felt like that, but there had to be a little bit of a nostalgic vibe to that at all. You know, it's good every now and then to step into a little bit of a divier venue on a Wednesday night to see STS 9.
Oh, no question. I definitely had some of those less endearing Cervantes qualities at times, so to speak.
Sure. And
Um,
it's funny you say that because I mean it's like perspective, right? And Cervantes is a great example of this because like, dude, I remember, and I said this on the podcast. I remember walking into Cervantes after Gates and being like, "Yuck, dude! Like this place fucking sucks." And it doesn't suck once the show starts. It's so much fun, but like what I was laughing about is the perspective of a hometown person versus an out of towner. Because if I go to the exact same shithole venue in a different city that I've never been in, I might as well be at Red Rocks. Like
So
I
true. So true.
I
So
love
true.
it. I love a diver in a strange town.
yeah.
There's just something about that to me that really speaks to me. But I totally understand the hometown bias of being like, "Ugh, dude, I fucking live here. This place sucks."
Yeah,
It's just
so like
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, downtown Bend is such a charming little like line of a few streets of shops and everything like that and restaurants. Is it right in that downtown area?
It is. It's right
Okay.
downtown, so easy parking, lots of restaurants and bars close by the river. The Deschutes River's right there. Parks are right
Hmm.
there. Ideal location, honestly, right where it is. The problem is, honestly, I don't think they've made many upgrades since that 2001 show. To be completely honest,
Yeah.
the bathrooms are lacking full doors. Uh,
Ooh.
the bar situation is less than enticing. It just needs some love. It's one of those places where I feel like with maybe a change of ownership, it would be a great venue, and it's got that history, like you said. Some great bands come through and play the Midtown Ballroom. We see some great bands there. It's just unfortunate that the sound is what it is, and the venue could be more. That type of.
Right. Well, it's tough in smaller cities like that when there's not as much competition. Where hey,
Absolutely.
that's probably the only size room
Mhm.
within a very large mile radius. So,
That's a
but
very
again,
interesting point about
Yeah.
yeah,
competition.
Yep.
yep. But Chris, take us there. Wednesday night, how's the turnout? What's the vibe like in Bend, Oregon, and the crowd?
Yeah. I was curious. Bend is notorious for being somewhat fickle with the jam tickets. We've been
Hmm.
to quite a few shows locally here that I would expect to sell much better. We saw Panic this summer, sold out show, same venue. String Cheese a couple years earlier was, half full. So it can be hit
Hmm.
or miss. So I was curious to see
Holy shit! Wait,
how it
Panic
goes.
played this Midtown Ballroom?
No.
No,
This
no.
was the outdoor venue. We were just
Okay, got
God
it, got
damn,
it, got
could you
it.
fucking imagine?
panic in that room. Holy shit.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I was curious. I've seen the Disco Biscuits play in this venue. I've seen Umphreys play in this venue. I've seen Railroad play in this venue.
Mhm.
Railroad fills it up. Disco Biscuits and Umphreys were pretty much empty. So I
Yeah,
really didn't know what to expect. And honestly, for a Wednesday night, I was very, very pleased with the turnout. I would
yeah,
guess probably two-thirds full. I think it's an 1,100 person venue.
dude,
So great turnout for a Wednesday night. Absolutely. Lots of room to dance for sure. No
good.
question about it. But I was pleasantly surprised to say the least.
Yeah,
Especially with a hometown show, you want people to turn out. I was able to actually bring a couple of first timers, which was awesome.
Good.
uh,
It's always the goal with the hometown shows, especially. So I was
hmm
very pleased with that.
fuck yeah, dude. That is so awesome to hear. It looked that way from the pictures, but we know what kind of magic that photographers can pull off every now and then. But it looked pretty well attended, and that was great to hear. And from the soundboard, it sounded like people were really loving what they were hearing. So let's get into what we were hearing. Right? We start off with I love how I think we've just been seeing it more and more often here in the last year and a half or so with using this musical story, yes, to kick things off, especially with the first night of a 5-night run. This one sounded a little bit different with like some of the effects they had on it too. And I don't know, Scotty, I feel like we could have talked about last week that probably the first full-length song we were going to hear was this Soul Slap.
Yes, and get fucking soul slapped across the face with it over these 5 nights.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, great to hear it. Chris, I know you said something in the lounge about it, but at this point, you can't have that opinion because this run has just started. So yeah, I mean, it sounds great on the boards. I mean, how did it resonate first song out the gate with that Ben crowd?
Oh, it was great. With being the first single released in a little while, at least besides the remixes that they've dropped, was very fitting. As soon as they started playing it, it was like, yep, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the weekend had different feelings on it, but at that point, perfectly placed.
Yeah. And just great to hear in the live setting what they did to it in the studio setting, right?
It spruced it up for sure.
Yeah. With the Axel F little section in there, and great to hear the interplay between Phipps and Hunter in that middle section. I think it sounded great, and you always wonder what that kind of like trappier, more electronic ending will sound like when it goes from studio to live, but I think it worked here for sure.
I was curious with the Axel F if that was gonna because they played it in Bend, and I was curious. All right, is this just gonna be a little tease? Is it a jam? Is this permanent? And it's definitely now I love that they incorporated that. It's almost like taking the Baba O'Reilly in Click Clang Echo and doing just a little nod to something classic there. Yeah.
I like that. We have not likened those two for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good observation.
Yep. And then we get into what was the longest jam of the night here, and one that is the first one that's on the clipping room floor here. This Glass, dude. I mean, this song is really becoming a fucking monster.
I mean, your first given hot take ever. Absolutely aged like wine, and continues to age like wine. I mean, there are no limits to how fucking good and innovative and different this song can be on a night to night basis. And this one is a fucking juggernaut. I don't know if I would call it the best one ever, but I think it's safely in the top 5 of the Glasses that's been played thus far.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm calling a fucking audible, dude. I have a like 1.5 minute, 2-minute clip here from like the initial jam. We talked about the like end jams and stuff like that, but let's just take a listen to how comfortable they're sounding with this in the middle here.
fucking ugh.
It is just so spring loaded. Like, and I can't remember the last song that hopped to this level of spring loadedness as quickly as it has, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just like, and for them to like find, because this is section 1 of 2 where they hit a ton of improv. The second section of improv is after they kind of come back to the hook, right? And then it's like super gritty, like alien modular shit that goes on. Very similar to the one that we listened to from Knoxville, right? I really wanted to take a time to like highlight this middle section because like, I don't know, it's like really rare that like they're creating these new songs where they find 2 different sections of it to throw some improv in. I think that is something that's really noteworthy.
Well, I mean, it puts it in that conversation of like the best STS9 songs that exist, because all of the songs. No, seriously, think about the list of the songs like that do specifically what you just described. You got like Breathe In, you've got like STS9, you've got Ramone, Rent, those 5.
Those are great examples, Scotty. Of where there's multiple sections within the song where magic happens, right?
Yeah, where like in that, I mean, that's what we pay. Those are the songs we fucking pay money for, right? And so for Glass to be a just over 4-year-old song and to fit in that conversation, I think very, very fairly. I mean, if you take all the pretension and like what we do as fans when we talk about these songs, and you put somebody in front of them that's not familiar with any of them, I don't think they would have any idea that Glass is from 2022 and Ramone is from fucking 2001, you know?
Yeah.
Like they sound like they were in the same studio session.
I can think of a few early Glasses that gave me a glimpse into the beast that it would become. It was 2022 they debuted that.
The Eastern. I would say the Eastern was one where you were like, "Oh, what's happening here?"
Yeah. Just because it was the first time you heard it, right?
Yeah. This could be something, but like you said, the level that it has grown to is just astronomical. I mean, it seems like every time they play this song, and you guys have commented on this on some of the other new songs before, but it almost seems like they just keep leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. And it's really awesome to see. One of my favorites off of The Human Dream, no question about it.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, this back end of this jam, I mean, we'd be listening if we had all the time in the world.
Great modular. Yeah.
Really, more special nice shit where it's just like so textured. Fuck. We're 3 songs in. And we've gotten a lot of new material here. And it's almost like they're feeling that as well. So let's get into this next clip.
Somebody wants to open a boat.
I mean,
the set list writing up to this point in the show is absolutely beautiful. Like,
it just keeps going, Scotty.
I know, but it just from musical story, yes, through Move My Peeps. I mean, that is just such a journey that they are so good at taking you on, right? And the way that one's told lands into Move My Peeps, I don't know, man. It's that thing that's so hard to put into words, but it's like the thing that made me fall in love with this band. Like they literally, you feel like you're arriving somewhere new when that Peeps finally comes in. There's just something so honest about it. I don't know.
I mean, the once told brings you there, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it's great to see it in rotation, right? After a little bit of an absence before Mishawaka, right? And then that version they played at Mishawaka, I don't know if it was due to technical issues or not, but like kind of like that almost Axe once told that we heard.
Yeah.
But to like hear the samples be back in like full force with this, but with still like they kept the layering of more playing of instruments as well. Like the combination of it like is like such a great ramp and just to the like that just like opening sound of Move My Peeps. Like where it's like, whoo, all right, so we're at the top of the goddamn roller coaster. Now it's time to, chill out a little bit here, right? Before we get into the full drop. Yeah. So
Once Told got dirty there at the end, and it's almost like I needed a rinse afterwards. Moving my feet a little bit, just something to cool me off and cool me down, and perfectly placed.
I love that because like it's an honest shower, right? It's an honest, cool shower, like
an honest shower.
You talked about Scotty. You were like, it's so honest. He was like, I need
Yeah.
something to rinse me off. I'm like, it's an
No, for
honest shower.
sure.
But like, there are temperatures to songs, right? Just how like some people liken certain colors to certain song like sounds or certain songs. Like "Move My Peeps" is like that's like a cool song, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like a chilly
like a
song.
65-degree room. Like that's wow, man.
It's
I
a
love
sweater
the
weather kind of song right there.
Yes.
I love the idea of songs having temperatures.
Yes. I don't think we've
That's
talked about that. That's
no,
fantastic.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Move My Peeps is like put you some fucking chili in the crock pot type of fucking.
Mhm.
Yeah, yep.
Hell yeah.
um, but man, this Move My Peeps really, really smooth playing, really smooth drum and bass section here. A lot of cool different fills from Zach. It seems like they were playing with negative space at certain times where like I love when he just like lets things breathe a little bit and like brings like the fills back, but we'll take like one measure to like cut the fills. I think I heard a lot of that throughout these 5 nights, which is I just love when they play with negative space, but some great
I
playing.
I can't agree with you more, Nate. It's something that I
Mhm.
think with the faster tempos that we see more these days, we don't see them often play with that negative space as much as we would like, or we would have maybe 10 years ago when there was a
Yeah,
ton of negative space in those jams. So it was nice. It
right.
was nice to see. Yeah, agreed.
Fantastic. Um, and shit, I mean, this 1, 2, 3 punch, right? So once told, move my peeps, and then Peace Blaster 6808. Chris, did you notice something different about how this 6808 sounded as well? Like this was like the opposite of negative space. It felt like they were like filling in the cracks a little bit with some of like the weird, like almost like Richard Devine patchy samples and stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It had a slightly different feel to it in the
Hmm.
room, and
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was due to the music or the room at the time,
Yeah. Right.
because the room is a little washy, so it was kind of difficult to tell. But they were definitely doing some different things with the textures there.
Yep. No, really cool. Not, I wouldn't say necessarily a rework, but like almost similar to like what Atlas sounded like after a few years off, right? Where
Huh.
it's like it seems like beefed up a little bit more, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
this one had a punch for sure. And then they bring you back to some of the new stuff, but again, remix of the old stuff with the something level up remix.
Can I be honest? I am
Go
growing
ahead.
tired. I am growing tired of this fucking level up.
Listen, I'm with you, Scotty. I think that I'd love to see it slow down quite a bit. I'd love to see more somethings here and there, right? It seems like well, it's kind of like making a something that much more like
Yeah,
special. But honestly, like I don't want them overplaying something either.
I
yeah.
would love to see them like in LA when they debuted it and it was like the jam in the middle of
Yeah.
something. I would like to see
Yes.
that more, like
Hundred
actually
percent, Chris.
play the
Yes.
full something type situation. I agree with you, Scotty. Every stop is getting one, and we
Mhm.
all know how we feel often when that's the case.
And I get it, and like I would have thought, I feel nuts saying that because like I this it's such a fun, tasteful reinterpretation of one of their best songs. But like I don't know, I think I don't have a problem with it so much as a piece of music. In fact, I know for a fact I have no problem with this song as a piece of music. I think I am having a hard time with where they are putting it. And I said this a couple weeks ago about the Something Level Up remix. I'm starting to notice a pattern in myself. But like, y'all, take this Something Level Up remix out just for the sake of my argument.
I was just gonna do this.
Musical story as Soul Slap Glass once told Move My Peeps Peace Blaster Surge Arigato. Like we
That's a perfect set.
It is.
like that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't see why this is here. No matter how good it is, it like it to me it just it is it's just a weird speed bump. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's your 8th full-length song, right, of the set. So I mean, they've been running with that 7-song set for quite a while. I think we've been seeing more recently. We're going to get into that discussion on our next show as well, with how many songs we saw. But no, I'm with you, Scott. I think the placement is a little bit off here, but I mean, let's talk good placement. And let's talk new placement. And before we get to that, here's what I'll rebuttal with you, Scott. They haven't played in this city in 20 years.
Fair.
Of course they're gonna fucking play.
Fair.
But yeah,
they're gonna get their shit off. I get that,
Yeah.
and that is completely fair. I just, as somebody that game tapes every single one of these shows, you know,
from this particular perspective,
Yes.
yes, absolutely, I'm with you, dude.
No
But
doubt.
just being Angels advocate there. But now let's talk about good placement here. Surge into Arigato. And I really like what they've been playing around with Surge here, and this is the first of its kind that we've seen. This is, I mean, Surge almost gives you a preview as to like where you're gonna get to by the end of an Arigato, right? But like kind of like provides that just like, again, like launching pad where it's almost similar to the end of that, like it's almost inverse to that Once Told Move My Peeps, where like they're bringing you up to a mountaintop and like bringing you back down. I love this placement of it being like almost an interlude to a first set, what do you call it, finale, right? Fuck it, dude. There is not enough I can say about this Arigato. Let's just get into it. I think it's been a while since we clipped one of these out, so I'm fucking fired up, Scotty. Holy fucking shit. So, all right, folks, a little bit of look behind the fourth wall here. Sometimes I don't get to eat dinner before we record episodes. And sometimes I'm forced to shove some dinner in my face during some of these clips. On the menu tonight is birria tacos. And there couldn't have been anything that sounded like more than I was eating. That shit was a birria taco dipped in consomme, dude. Like dripping in consomme, dude. Just fucking rendered fat, dude. Unreal.
Could not have a better descriptor than that, honestly. Honestly. Holy fuck.
And it's leaving a very good taste in my mouth. It's a party in my ears.
It's a fiesta in your ears. Man, Phipps and Hunter are at war for the Cool Kid Award on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
absolute fucking battle.
Yep.
If Phipps owns the first half, Hunter just is unfucking deniable in the second half. Guys, this arigato is unbelievable.
Insane.
Yeah. Best one I've heard in a very long time.
It is the Hunter's ability to hit that peak just right. Like, oh my God, just insane. You know, we get a lot of gatos that are just pure nasty funk. But this one's got
a lot of heavy ones. Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. This one's got that and then some, no question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very well rounded. I mean, just like Phipps sound like that. Like, just like, what the fuck? And he was doing a lot of that in the Move My Peeps as well at the end of that. I almost forgot. Like, the end of that Move My Peeps was a Phipps masterclass, just like this one was too. But man, what a way to send you into set break here, Chris.
It was I mentioned earlier I had a first timer with me, and that was the one where he turned to me and he said, "Oh my God." And
that'll do it. Yeah. That'll be one that you remember for sure.
No question.
So, I mean, Scotty, you said it, man. This first set, Something Level Up remix or no Something Level Up remix. What a way to fucking kick this 5-night run off. Just like you get everything here. So chef's kiss on that first set. Second set, we've got a short clip to start things off with how they started things out here. So let's kick it back to the music. That's fun. Scotty, I know you are not the biggest Lift You Up guy, but how do we feel about this?
I mean, the double time mod, it just like sonically mod and Lift You Up work together better maybe than any song that they've put with Lift You Up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a real I think this is this the third time they've done this? Not this exact like kind of double time version like we're talking
Yes.
about, but
Third Lift You Up into mod.
Okay.
Yes.
this
But go ahead.
this just kind of feels like where Lift You Up belongs is on the front end of mod.
It sounds like it should be the beginning of mod here, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's because they're bringing in that modular point right there before they even get into the mod intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what that does for the beginning of mod, I love mod. Fuck, it's the goddamn namesake of the fucking podcast, right? Like, but like the beginning of mod can be a little bit awkward sometimes.
Sure.
Where like it seems like they have trouble like catching up with like that drum sample, right? Where it sounds like one of those kid like like the plastic fucking like tennis rackets, and like where it's just plastic film. That's how it sounds. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no. I know what you're talking about, like the boom,
yeah,
like yeah.
Yeah. Like it sounds like sometimes they have a hard time syncing between Alana, Zach, and that all at once, but like getting right into it and like having that little taste of the modular part of mod to start off makes the beginning of mod a little bit more smooth. It helps them get into it a little bit quicker.
I can see that.
Yeah.
They really love, like, I'm trying to think, it's probably only twice that I've seen them play Lift You Up where they haven't segued it into another song. They really like to do that. And I have to say that this pairing works better than just about anything else I've heard them do with Lift You Up.
I would say Lift You Up and mod, and then I like 2012 as well. That's a good one too. But man, I mean, some of those standalone Lift You Ups are pretty fucking crazy. But yes, it's a great jumping off point for sure. So I mean, then the end of this mod, another one on the cutting room floor in here. This one had shades back to Fourth Dimension type modular jam out of mod. Yeah. Or those fucking Saxon. That light show just burned in my goddamn eyes from the JMR YouTube clip from that. So
that was one of my highlights for sure. That jam. Mod is a song that I've had a tumultuous relationship with, and the jams always bring me back. Every single time the jam brings me back, and this time was no substitute.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. Well, we don't go far for our last clip from this night. We promise we have clips from the other shows as well. But let's get into another Human Dream track here. All right, Scotty, we're getting a little bit of what you're looking for with the song.
Yes. I mean, this. I think though the only thing I really have to say about this is this is why you gotta listen to these soundboards, because somebody that isn't actually running these shows through from front to back might be an older jaded fan, sees an 8-minute portal and goes, yeah, so what? um but when you listen to this, I mean, dude, the what the acceleration that these songs are on compared to any other new song in recent memory. I mean, this batch of Human Dream songs, there's just something about them that it's like they've got steroids in them. Like they just keep growing and finding these new levels that uh, I don't know, man. It's been really fun to watch this song grow legs and arms and a whole new personality at this point.
Well, this one's about 90 seconds longer than the next longest one. This
Okay,
is,
okay. So this
yeah.
is the longest one ever. Okay, nice.
Yep.
Is Axe the next? What's the next longest name? Was it the Axe one?
Axe would have been the next longest. Yeah, around 7 minutes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I the Axed one, at the time, I think that was the one with the big drum solo from Zach in the middle
Yep.
of it.
Sure, and you get a little bit of this on the back end.
A little bit of that,
on the back end
but
does.
bringing in the element, the rest of the band, a little bit more flavor there, a little bit more going on added to the mix. I know I personally have been waiting to see this song get played like this, and Axed was a good taste of that, and it feels like finally we're going to start to see this really open up a little bit.
Yep. No, I like you said, Chris, you bring up the Axe show. This is exactly the first thing you think, right? When you hear something like this, but like it's really good to hear the rest of the members get involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, let's give Zach a little bit of time at the end of this song every time, right?
Absolutely.
Like sure, let's add some of the other member improv that we got, right? And like the super jazzy, like rhythm stumbles almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, let's cut everything, spotlight him for a little bit, just like that Axe show, and then as soon as he's done, you bring it back with the dun dun and the chords, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we could see like a combination of what we saw with this with the Axe type of structure, I think that's where it starts to get really exciting. But nonetheless, I mean, this is awesome to hear. I think no doubt it's going to sound awesome if they stretch this out, right? So we'll speed around through the rest of the show here. We get a Out of This World in a Scheme, always a good time. This Scheme has a lot of bright moments, very high energy. Beat Goes On remix, I think this is the second best one next to the Charleston version. You saw a lot of high energy improv and modular shit at the end of this. It eclipsed 9 minutes. Then we get into a quick glogly that leads into a moon socket to close out the second set. And then finish things up with an Only Light Remains. That was a nice little treat to get as an encore here, right, Chris?
Yeah, definitely came out of left field. I honestly, if you had asked me any songs that I guessed that they would play, there's no chance that I would have guessed Only Light Remains would have been played last week. So it was a pleasant surprise. What was the last? It's got to have been at least a couple of years, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, the Eastern, 2023, December 29th, 2023.
Yeah,
is that right?
It'd been so long, I didn't, I was like, Vapors remix for a second, like, oh my God, with all the remixes they've been doing. And then, of course, once the chorus kicks in.
Scotty, are you having the same thought that I did when I saw this on the set list first? That, like, are you mistaking it for Love Don't Terrorize?
Oh my gosh, I totally am.
I did the exact same thing, and then I took another look at this after looking at the set list. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, they haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah,
those two almost get a little bit lumped together. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I've seen them play that live myself personally since 2019. It's been a while. Yeah.
So always good to hear stuff like that when you haven't heard in a while. And I think this one it did sound a little bit different to me, Chris. Like there seemed like a little bit of like an extra like effect they were putting like on some of Phipps's keys and stuff. So it did sound like they gave a little bit of TLC to it while it's been on the shelf.
Because it's on the B-side album.
There we go, Scotty. I love it.
It's gotta
Love
be,
to see
dude.
it. Yeah.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
I mean, this is I think this is one everyone was expecting to see on the Universe Inside, just in terms of like the thematics behind it, right? Like
Sure.
of when they started playing it, right? Like, but like, wasn't this one where like, because this is Audio Angel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she talked about recording this with Merv. So like, I mean, they've been working on this song for even before Alana. So I mean, we'll see, but I wouldn't be surprised, Scotty. That is a great thought, but. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit too, but like what we've been seeing out of encores from this band for the last quarter and change, a lot of old classics. Took a little bit of a different turn here for this week, which I thought was interesting. But let's get to Boise, Chris. We had seen some. Let's talk about this first. How about that trip? Me and Scotty were looking at the Google Maps of outlining this run, and this seemed like the biggest leg of it from Bend to Boise. So talk through that, man.
Yeah. Oh man, some real long drives.
Mhm.
You know, when I was in my 20s, I was a real road warrior and didn't mind the 17-hour Tahoe to Colorado haul in one
Woo.
shot. You know, I could do it no problem. But those are days of yore at this point.
Mhm.
And needless to say, anything over 5 or 6 hours, and I'm hurting. So. We had 5 hours from Bend to Boise, 7 hours Boise to Missoula, 3 hours Missoula to Bozeman, 6 hours to Spokane, and 6 hours home. So, believe it or not, the Boise stretch was actually one of the shorter stretches
Okay.
of the whole run.
For some reason, I thought that it was the Bend to Boise that was the long one, but you're right. It was the from where Boise they went up to.
Yes. Which
yeah,
That's
I'm
Spokane.
looking forward to talking about that drive. We'll save that for a little bit because
Sure.
long as it was, that was.
I'm sure it was fucking epic.
That
Yeah.
was it.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yep.
Bend to Boise, wide open, high desert, straight line. You know, there is a scenic route to take, but unfortunately, as most of the Pacific Northwest is, it is on fire. So there you go.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask, right? Because we saw some social media posts from the band about what was going on in Boise. And, for someone like me who's in the Midwest, I haven't been hearing a lot about this. Unfortunately, it's been like normalized, this shit in the news of what's been fucking going on, which is really sad and really scary. But yeah, talk a little bit about the conditions and what the band did for a town like Boise that might be struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been horrible this summer. I mean, the fire season gets worse and worse every year. And as you guys are probably aware, this past winter was a rough one for most of the Western US. Not a lot of snowpack equals very dry conditions. I know in the state of Oregon, which I'm obviously more privy to, before the end of July, 2 million acres had already burned, which is a record already. So, and we're in August here. So it's been really bad. What Sound Tribe being able to come and provide that sort of release and that relief, you could tell it was cathartic. It was necessary and it was important. And initially going into, especially with Spokane, which I know we're not going to talk about on this particular episode, I had some hesitation about should I be going and taking this
absolutely
trip and visiting this community? Is that the right thing to be doing right now? And at the end of the day, I'm glad I made that call because they want that support, right? At the end of the day, they want people to still come, give them that business. Boise was the smokiest of all the stops on the tour by far. I would say AQI when I pulled into town was probably somewhere hovering below 200 parts per million, which is really bad. So that was difficult. They at the show, you could actively smell smoke, which is
Oh, at
obviously
an
always
indoor venue?
at
That's
an indoor
fucking
venue.
crazy.
So
Wow.
that's always a little concerning.
Yeah.
But like you just said, Nate, it's horrible how normalized it's become living in Tahoe and then Oregon for the last 15 years. It's become a part of what our summers are now, and
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking to say the least.
hmm No, I mean, glad that I'm glad the show went on, and I know they did it looked like a 2-for-1 deal to get people out and everything like that. But I mean, we were taking a look at this Tree Fort Music Hall coming up. I mean, this looked like a newer venue. It looked pretty fucking cool. Tell us a little bit about this room.
Great venue. I was actually very impressed. I was actually present for the last show in Boise, which was at an old knitting factory that has since closed down. Much preferred Tree Fort to that knitting factory.
Nice.
Single level venue with kind of a dropped pit, so that there's kind of a ring around the outside. Nice big disco ball, ample bars, clean bathrooms. Again, I was curious to see how turnout would be. Boise on a Thursday, it's Boise, Idaho after all, and there was a great turnout.
Good.
I wouldn't say more than 2/3, probably again maybe half to 2/3, but enough where it felt full, but you had room to dance.
Yeah, a little bit of a bigger room than the Midtown Ballroom too. It looked
Yes.
like too.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but that is great to hear. So,
I liked it. And Tree Fort, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Tree Fort as a brand, but that's all I had known them for before. I didn't realize they'd gotten into the music game, but I guess they have a couple music venues in the Boise area that are doing pretty
nice.
well. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, glad to hear it. So we start things out. Another proper start. I mean, you get Musical Story Yes to start in Bend, and then This Us to start in Boise. So great way to kick things off here. And then we see another first with the segue into Peachtree here. And Chris, before we started recording, you had spoke to just a little bit more of the loosened up nature of this Peachtree as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And very similar to Portal, one of the slower songs off Human Dream that I really enjoy, and I've been really looking forward to seeing get a little bit more breathing room. That again, just to touch on the Axe show one more time, started to see it kind of manifest there, and really saw it manifest to the nth degree this time around. And really, really nice to see it loosened up. I thought this was a great version.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit. I heard a little bit of like New Dawn, New Day teases into this from Peachtree into this New Dawn, New Day. So a little bit of a kind of tease there from song to song, and then Beyond Right Now. I don't know, guys. Like every time I hear this, I'm just hoping for the drum and bass drop breakdown.
I don't agree. Agree.
That's why I said I don't know. That's why I'm opening this up, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like the drum and bass breakdown, but I also don't know if I'm the best person to get in a real good take on Beyond Right Now. I've said before, this is my first live song ever, and so the drum and bass part of it, when they do it, is cool, but I don't need it. I think this is one of those songs, a la like a Luma Daylight, or even like a This Us, which I've talked about how much I love that one from Mishawaka. But some songs just stand really well on their own. Some Sing's a good example of that, where you don't need too much fuckery for it to come across really well. I think Beyond Right Now is in that category.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that version. I think it was last year where they put a little extra on that end jam there, and I forget exactly where they did it, but this one it wasn't anything close to that, but it did feel like, although it didn't have the D&B on the end, they did have a little extra on that kind of very ethereal ending section.
Yeah, the percussion outro, yes,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, there was some extra flair on that, which is good to hear. And maybe like a quick drum and bass tease for a little bit, and that's where I'm always like, come on! Like some of those Beyond Right Now drum and bass jams are some of my favorite stretches of STS9. So I'm just jaded by that. Let's be honest. But then we get into what, Scotty? Was this
Point.
first blood of the weekend here?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We get an F word here with some nice work from Phipps near the back end and some really nice work from Jeffrey, I thought, on this F word too, which is good to hear. But shit, you got two back to back here, my friend. But that one's our next clip. Man, listen, that Arigato jam was something. This one might take the cake for what we're going to listen to here today. toit like a fucking toiger, dude. Like
Uh,
Alana on this, like, I, it's just like it's kind of one of those Alana moments where like it's not frog bass, right? It's not slap bass. She's not like dropping fucking bombs in your face, right? But like the subtlety of just like her fucking mastery on the frets with
yeah.
this. It's just
Mhm.
like when you really lock in on her, which I know it's tough, right? Because like a big focus on these is Zach and Jeffrey and like Hunter bringing things back in and like I mean Zach and Hunter right here are just lock in step, but like Alana took my breath away here.
I got to agree. The percussion is what starts it, and she so quickly just comes in and
Yeah,
takes over. Just it's
yeah,
impressive. It's absolutely impressive.
Well, Nate, I really like what you just said about I don't remember exactly how you just said it, but like it's sometimes for the untrained ear, and this isn't just for STS9. It's hard to hear the bass if you don't know what you're listening to, and
hmm
oftentimes in a lot of music, it's almost the bass's job to be unnoticed and to kind of
hmm
carry that unspoken groove, right?
Very true.
Um, and none of it's easy, and I'm not a fucking musician, so far be it for me to pretend like anything that any of these musicians do is easy. But I do think that when you're talking about those bass bombs, that's like the low hanging fruit for bass
yeah,
players, right?
yeah,
It's the thing that you can count on a crowd pop anytime you do it during any song. And that's fun. And you count on a crowd pop because that's good shit. But where Alana Rockland is one of the greatest bass players living and playing music today is in those really musical moments that you're talking
yeah.
about.
The finesse, right?
Right.
Yes.
She
Yep.
doesn't need to drop bombs in your face. She will because she likes it. It's fun. Um, but she is as good of a technical bass player, as good as a fill player, as any bass player you're going to find. And yeah, I mean, I love the example of this Kamwai because she steps out from the background. She makes kind of a moment for herself, and then she allows the rest of the band to shine that much brighter. Yeah, I love that you talked about her here because all I wanted to talk about was Zach. So I'm glad you came in with that Alana take.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not to take away from the crisp execution here from like Zach bringing things back in here, like the
Hmm.
like I don't know if I've heard one that clean in a really long time. It's not the longest like Kamwai Jam. It doesn't really get like type two, so to speak, right? But like just the cohesiveness and like fucking how on it they sounded got me fucking fired up.
Hmm.
So um then we get into a one-two punch here, Human Dream, like I do, G Funk. Um, man, this G Funk got, I mean, as they have been, man, just like we're so lucky that like they're putting new songs out like this because like the way this in Dusk, which we hear later in the night, are progressing is just like it's so layered.
Yep.
And they seem like they're having a lot of fun with it. And they seem comfortable there, right?
Hmm.
I know that this one set out for you too, right, Chris?
Absolutely. Like I do. I mean, ever since they really rounded out that end jam, has always just been a pleaser for me. I really enjoy that song. Thank God G Funk is in rotation the way it is these days. That's all I can
Yep.
say. For a
Yeah.
while there, I didn't know if we were going to get it back, and I'm so glad
Scotty's very
now.
much there with you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know?
I think. I mean, I don't know. I've never talked to any of them about kind of what the what it looks like for a song to be brought back, but I like to think that the fans had a pretty big part in G Funk being resurrected. Largely, it seemed like something they had forgotten about. And yeah, now I mean, I again talk about songs you expect to see on the B sides. I would put a good amount of money on that we're gonna get a Studio G Funk coming up here real soon.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my bad. I just assumed it was on there. Did you hear me? I said 1-2 during Human Dream Punch. It's just like I just associate it with that because of like its resurgence and like how they've kind of like batched it with these group of songs in the live selection, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's it's provided that like extra layer that Dusk also provides, where it's like, okay, here's another one that's like this, right? Where we get like almost like a lot of these dancier, dance floor napalm jams as we call them out of Human Dream, but it's good to get stuck in the mud every once again, and we stay down in the mud here to finish out the first set with the longest jam of the night here, which you can count on ABC's being every time it pops up on a set list. Seems like this and the Rabble are really kind of taking that role within shows. The intro on this, they didn't really spend as much time on that and just got really right into it and provided some more drum and bass kind of playing off the New Dawn, New Day earlier in the set to finish things out here with the first set. So 9-song first set here. And then we get into the second set here. And Chris, it had been a while since you gotten one of these, right?
Yes, sir. I've been hoping for one. Let's see, it'd been 14 years.
Wow.
Since my last papers. 2012.
You mean Empires, right?
Yeah. Empires, yep. 2012 was my last Empires. Sorry, what did I say?
You said papers.
My bad. That's definitely not been 14 years since my last papers. 14 years since my last Empires. One of my favorite songs with Murph. The one from the New Year's run in Denver 2012 is still the one that I go back to and listen to when I pick a particular version. So I was really, really excited to see it back. I know it's been back in rotation for a few years now, but I just haven't gotten lucky with it. So and believe it or not, another crazy aspect of that little segue. In all my years, I never saw a new Soma. So that was my first ever new Soma too. So
dude.
Great start to the second set.
Yeah, and we've seen new Soma pop up a couple of times here on its own, right, in the last year. So it's cool to get its running mate back with Empire New Soma. Great way to start a set, a second set in particular, with some of that funky stuff that they've infused in the middle of Empires too. And I think the new Soma just like rounds it out really nicely. Man, we talk about segues, right? We talk about running mates.
Yep,
man.
I was just about to say that.
Wilder in Blue Mood should be running for president in 2028.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah, I don't care who's vice president, who's president.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Does it? What is it obvious? Do we want the young gun as kind of the head and have like the grizzled vet as his the Biden to his Obama, if you will, political affiliation aside for for our listeners, but like
it was there, you had to take it.
But that's the role that was played. I don't know. I think Wilder would make a bang up president. I think Blue Moon would make a great VP.
Man, well, Blue Mood could be better than Red Mood. I guess it just depends on your political affiliation. We know that they're both Wilders, so to speak. So whatever. Put me right in the fucking middle, dude. Honestly, both fucking nuts.
But no doubt these two go together like peanut butter and jelly. You could not pick a better pairing. And nice to see Wilder back. I feel like it's been a while. I could not tell you the last, but I feel like it's been a little bit since the last Wilder.
Yeah, checking that right now here for us. And
I feel like we've got. I thought we got
Ramova.
Yeah.
Ramova. Okay.
End of 2025. Yes, and it was a Wilder Blue Mood, something I was really pumped about as well. But before that, we've only seen one in 2025, one in 2024, one in 2023 before it was played a handful of times in 2022. So they've been further and far between, whatever the fuck, Jesus Christ. But you get what I'm trying to fucking say. But
Yeah.
you break things up with a dusk here, which always we like to see. Um, nice dark mood. This is a dark set so far, guys.
Yeah.
Empires
Very
into
dark.
New Soma, Wilder into Blue Moon, Dusk, then balancing into this next segment we're going to talk about here. Ooh, you talk about combos there. I like that. I like
Uh-huh.
that. That fucking very, not in a bad way, abrasive, like vapors, like very high energy. And like, again, you talk about songs they've filled in the cracks with. That sounds way better than it has in previous years. But like to get into like a spooky, like chilled out, like Nautilus like that is like classic official do to you after a massive tweezer hit you with a life buoy right after, right? It gives you a second to just kind of breathe a little bit, right? Very similar to that once told into the Move My Peeps like segment there. Really like that. First time that's happened as well.
And what I think I like the most about it is it's like a creative way to use that come down section of Vapors, right? It's not even a section. I mean that's just like, kind of we always call it landing the spaceship, but you don't normally see anything come out of that. And
Right.
so to play with just that little Nautilus sounding note until it eventually follows itself into Nautilus. That's cool, man. That's just something that you don't see a whole lot of, particularly with Vapors, and never before with Nautilus. So that's really cool.
Agreed.
Yep.
I think that grand piano sound on Vapors, you did a great job expressing it, Scotty. Landing the spaceship brings you back down to earth, brings you back to that kind of solid plane, and taking that and using that and playing it right into Nautilus just works so well. From like you said, Nate, just like we did with the Once Told in the Move My Peeps, we went to space and now we're coming back down to earth, back to, this time we're maybe having a water landing, but same kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Love that. A little seaplane action there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a Never Never into Inspire Strikes Back. Fun way to kind of pick things up but I mean, it's still dark all the way through here. Like, you got to think that like most of this set is in like the minor key, right? Like, I just remember seeing this set the next morning on the Church of STS9 Instagram page, being like, "Holy fuck, that second set looks like a lot of fun." And then another newer song, right? That we get for the encore. First night we see Only Light Remains. Second night we see Arrowhead here. Which, Arrowhead's a fun song, but like I think this is like a decision that they made, right? They maybe take a look at the last dozen shows or so where we've seen, again, old school bangers in the slot as the encore, and now some of the newer songs too. But how'd this land end the night here, Chris?
It was definitely an active decision. I can't say it's one that I endorse.
Sure.
I personally feel that the encore is a space for a different type of song. That's just me, my personal opinion.
Sure.
But, I love an Arrowhead. This was definitely the type of show where that fit. It was high energy. They played a lot of songs. I don't think I've seen them play that many songs in one show in years.
20 songs.
20 songs in one show.
Yep.
Reminded me to a lesser degree, because there were at least some jams, but of that DC show last year.
Yes.
So definitely like just trying to throw everything at you kind of situation, which, there's something to be, argued for that and against that. Personally, for me, I'd rather see them open up, remove a few songs, open up a few of them, and throw a classic for the encore, and boom, you immediately have taken that show to the next level.
Yep. No,
I agree.
I can't say I disagree with you, but a really fun night in Boise after a long-awaited return here. So we are going to dip our toes into the Kettle House Amphitheater here in Bonner, Montana. So this was the long drive here, right, Chris? So talk to us a little bit about what we're seeing scenery-wise, going from Boise to Bonner.
Yeah, going in, I knew it was going to be the longest drive of the trek. Had to get an early start. Fortunately, it was a beautiful, beautiful day, and I mean, there wasn't a stretch of highway that I hit for the entire drive. Like, I'm talking single lane, winding through tall pines along the river, untouched land. So, we were talking about forest fires earlier. So much of the West is scarred in that way now, where drive through a national forest, it's almost impossible to not see something like that. And the entire drive from Boise to Missoula was just untouched. I think I passed through, 3 or 4 towns early on, and then I hit a stretch of literally I want to say it was 3.5 hours where I didn't pass a single town. I had zero service. I was just driving along like these remote rivers the whole way. And the 7 hours felt like nothing. It felt like a breeze, you know, when you have that type of scenery to help it go by faster. I felt inspired. I felt rejuvenated. I didn't feel sluggish like I do when you're bogged down on Highway 80 or 70 driving for 4 hours stuck in bumper to bumper. You know what I mean? So it was refreshing. A long drive, but a refreshing drive. I talked to a few other fans who stopped along the way and had picnics along the river and stopped and swam. And, you know, that's what you want out of a tour, right? Yes, a 7-hour stretch is longer than I would ever pick voluntarily, to be fair. But if it's going to be 7 hours, I want to have that type of things along the way to stop.
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely. And you talk about scenery. I mean, we were checking out some pictures of this place last week, but it seems like one of those places where pictures doesn't do it justice. Like, this place looks fucking unreal.
It absolutely is. Serious mountain vibes. It's incredible that this venue even exists where it does. It feels, way too big for where it is, right? Like in the middle of nowhere there. And they're lucky, they've got Missoula, which is a college town. So it's 20 minutes down the road. So they've got a free shuttle that brings the kids and anyone else up from town. But man, this venue was something else. Great pit, a nice seated middle section, a nice lawn. The one major downside to this show was ticket sales. Unfortunately, because the ticket sales were low, which I had, it's Montana. It's a 5,000 person amphitheater in Montana, right? This is a
and I don't know if a lot of kids are back on campus yet in Missoula, right?
Right, exactly.
Maybe this week, yeah.
So that was the one downside. They ended up closing the lawn, which I was definitely disappointed was the case. I always love dancing barefoot in a lawn when I have the opportunity to. It's one of my favorite things to do. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it packed everyone in tighter. It made the venue feel more full. And at the end of the day, we had a great time. So it was all right. And the venue is spectacular. I cannot speak highly enough. Everybody and anybody, if you are a live music fan, you need to go check out this venue at some point in your life.
Yeah, looks like one of those for sure. And we had an opener as well, right? Dirtwire, did you catch any of that set?
We did. It was a great set. Dirtwire's always fun. David Satori from Beats Antique. I think there's 2 guys now. I thought there were 3 the last time I saw Dirtwire, so I don't know if they had a lineup change. But they came down in the crowd with their drums and were jamming like in the pit, which was, super cool.
Nice. Really
fun mix of twang, electronic, very Montana-esque kind of vibe,
Yep, absolutely. I think we get a little bit of a play on words here for this opener, right? I think we're sky high, right?
Yeah.
We're fucking in the goddamn mountains, right? So we go from sky high down to low swagga, right? Like, hey,
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we're seeing some of that in the, I feel like, the last handful of shows, which is fun. But we're gonna finish things out. Again, this is the most we'll dip our toes into this show before we pick things back up next week. But Chris had hand selected this one as a clip to bring us home. man, when Phipps puts the emphasis on that,
Uh-huh.
there's, he's been feeling that middle jam where he comes back and he rounds things out with like that on an emphasis. Excellent work from David Phipps on this first half STS9 jam.
STS9 is one of those songs where I always find myself most looking forward to the outro jam.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the last 5 years, that middle jam section has stolen the show almost, I don't want to say every time, but
Right.
it's become, like we were talking earlier, those songs with two different beasts of a section. There's no question that STS9 is one of those.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. And that's funny. I mean, like Scotty had played one of those STS9s. What was that from, Scotty? That was from not last episode, the year before. It was from Gem and Jam, right?
Yeah.
Where
yes.
What was that? 2018, right? Yep. So yeah, that's probably like the front end of that, like you're talking about, Chris, right? Where like, man, they really like pick up the tempo. Like, it's just like when Phipps decides to be super active in that front half, like it kind of like raises the bar for everybody else, right? Because some of those ones, like you're talking about, the somewhat outliers, right? Where like those outro jams have been huge. I think of Resonate from last year, right? Where like that one is just like out of fucking control in the second half. But like, this one is just a goddamn locomotive throughout this first half, and just really fun shit from David Phipps.
Perfect for this venue and this type of show. I think, out of this run, this show fit the festival environment the most.
Sure.
And I think this type of high energy jamming really fit that well. Like, it was a very high energy dance party. There weren't a lot of moments in this show where they slowed down really at all. So this definitely, I think lent credence to that, and was very emblematic of the entire night.
Sure. Yeah. You think about the one long set format, and that's huge for it too. And it looked like this was obviously the biggest stage they played out of the 5 nights, and it looked like the production was beefed up a little bit here, so I'm sure it looked good visually as well.
It was a great stage, honestly.
Yeah.
Really, really fun venue. Was glad to make it out there and see them at that venue. I hope they come back, because I'd love to see them back there.
I hope they do too, because I'd love to make it. But
yeah.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun, man. Glad that you've remained safe through what's been a tougher conditions wise summer up in the Pacific Northwest, and hope you continue to remain safe, and glad you made it across this long journey in one piece, and had some great stories to tell along the way, man. So really appreciate you joining us, man. Hope you had fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I gotta just give the alignment that all happened this weekend. Scotty started the episode off by giving a big congrats to the McNats. Big congrats to them. I want to point out, this run started with a solar eclipse on Wednesday. There was the meteor shower ongoing throughout the run. For me personally, I know people in my life, one couple who got engaged, 2 couples who had children this weekend, someone else who got a massive promotion. There is amazing alignment that is happening in the air right now. And it's awesome to see it all kind of surrounding a run like this, because this is what we look forward to. This is what keeps us going. I know, I'm always looking forward to the next show, and it's amazing when things manifest in that type of a way. It's funny how life kind of has a way of delivering when you need it the most. So just want to point out, amazing alignment this weekend. Can't wait to hear the episode next week. And thank you guys for all you do for this community. This is an awesome podcast, and you guys are both true gentlemen. So thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, brother. We
love
to
that.
have you, and yeah, it's long overdue. We're glad we could get you on for this.
Likewise.
Yep.
Likewise.
Scotty, we're picking up where we left off with some more boots in the ground next week, right?
Oh yeah, we're doing something new, baby. We these one long set shows are particularly tough to break down when you've got anything else to talk about. So we're not even gonna fucking leave this show. We're gonna pick it up right where we left off next week. uh, with Caroline Loviano and her boyfriend Jesse. They also did all 5 nights. So really cool opportunity that we've got over these 2 weeks to talk to people that did all five. Completely different perspectives, obviously from both camps, but they will pick up right where Chris is leaving us off right here. We'll close out the rest of this show and then the remaining 2 shows from this 5 night run next week, guys. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for watching, listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, throw us a comment or review if you're feeling nice. But other than that, thanks again, Chris, for joining us. And we'll see you guys next week. Just Pats. Have a great weekend. Much love.
Bye, guys.